We'll keep going.
A quorum is present. I call this meeting of the Transit Advisory Group to order at 5 p.m. Let's do roll call really first for the tag. Becky? Here. Dave?
Here.
Thanks. Debbie?
Here.
Jeff has an excused absence. John? Thanks. Rose?
Here.
Thank you. Tim has an excused absence, and I am present as well. JTA staff, Nicole?
Here.
Amanda?
Present.
Kelly?
Here.
All right, thanks so much. First item on the agenda is public comment. Does any member of the public wish to give public comment? If you are online, please raise your hand. If you are on the phone, press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. Commenters will have up to 3 minutes to speak.
Okay, we do have one public comment. One hand up from Tom Thiersch. Go ahead, Tom.
Hi there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, thanks. You never know with this technology. I had a quick comment to make about your, about your proposed and revised bylaws. One section of it caught my attention. Page 4 of 7 of the bylaws, which is item 5.3. The wording of that, the members of the tag shall not lobby representing themselves as JTA staff, board members, or da-da-da-da. The wording of that, the phrasing of that sounds like it's restrictive of the public speech rights. The members of the tag, of course, can't represent themselves as representing the board in their personal opinions, but the way this is worded, the second part of that sentence of 5.3 says the members of the tag shall not attempt to influence legislation or elected officials. In other words, I think you should probably rephrase that so that it's clear that members of the tag have the right to express their opinions individually, but not as members of staff or board members. So I don't have any specific rewording suggestions for that, but I think you ought to take a close look at it because it could be challenged on First Amendment principles. That's about it. Thanks.
Thank you for the comment. Nicole, do you have a response?
I don't have a response, Tom, only because I don't have those pulled up in front of me, but we'll go ahead, staff will go ahead and look at your suggestions and then move forward with that. But so I don't have a specific response for you.
Want to see the language?
Other than I can get back to you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom. Are there other public comments?
There's no hands up online.
Okay. With that, then I'm going to close public comment and we're going to move on to the consent agenda. The first item on the consent agenda is the approval of the January 7, 2026 minutes. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
1 second. Moved and approved. Any discussion?
Don't look like it.
All right. All in favor of approving the minutes from January 7, 2026, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? All right. The motion passes unanimously. Our next item is a board update from JTA. Nicole will present updates from the board meeting on February 17th and introduce our new liaison, Fred Obie from the City of Port Townsend City Council.
Fred, do you want to introduce yourself while I pull up the agenda from the board?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, I will. I'm Fred Obie. I spent my life working for newspapers, mainly small ones across the Pacific Northwest. About 20 of those years were spent here in Port Townsend. I've been a reporter, an editor, the general manager. My last job in journalism was as the executive director for the Washington Newspaper Publishers Association, which is a statewide interest group that represents the needs and interests of newspapers. We lobbied the legislature and provided services to our members, just like many similar organizations do. But I retired from that a couple of years ago now, and I ran for the city council last year, and here I am in my first term, just a couple of months into it. So I'm a newbie. I'm still learning the ropes, so I'm very interested in what you're doing here as the advisor group to transit. I'm a big fan of public transit, and I've used it all my life. So I'm excited to be here.
Welcome.
We're
Thank you very
excited
much.
to have you. So Fred, what we scheduled our board meeting at the same time as a Port Townsend City Council meeting.
Right.
So Fred did not get to participate in the whole board meeting. So he and I will maybe tag team our board update. So first thing we talked about at the board meeting was our Third Bay fire suppression system and just providing an update. We are still working on developing a good plan with the county that will allow us to occupy that third maintenance bay, but currently we are not occupying the third maintenance bay. We then talked a little bit about Bassetti Architects and moving into the second phase of the Haynes Place redesign. We've done a lot of work up until this point that's really preliminary type work. Some things like soil testing and traffic studies, things of that nature. So we haven't really gotten into the meat of it yet. That's phase 2, but we're working on phase 2. So more to come is what I'm saying. More to come for this group. The board did pass the tag bylaw amendments. Kelly has been leading the project on our rebrand, and Kelly kind of led the group, and we identified a consultant to help with the rebrand. And so we requested authorization from the board to sign a contract with that consultant. We're excited about them. They are a group out of Corvallis. Lots of transit experience. So we think that what the work that they've done will tie well into Jefferson Transit. Starting at the beginning of the year, Jefferson Transit got a lot of requests to use this beautiful boardroom and our space here. And it was time for Jefferson Transit to develop a facilities use agreement. And so we took some time to develop that use agreement. Right now, we are working with the county, the planning commission, allowing them to hold their planning commission meetings here in this space. So put together a facilities use agreement to just offer some protection for Jefferson Transit and all of our new equipment, but also provided us some structure when allowing other entities to use.
Paying for it?
No. Oh. We talked about Sunday service and just some updates. And I can provide just a little bit of an update from the update that we gave to the board, in that people are taking our survey and we are so excited. And really, I think that goes to Kelly and all of her work in getting people to really engage with us and provide feedback. So we're excited about that. We are still on track for launching Sunday service on Sunday, May 3rd. That, of course, is contingent upon the board giving us the thumbs up in April. But I feel confident that we are moving ahead as we should to get that to happen. And frankly, I think that may be one of the most exciting things that Jefferson Transit does all year, is provide that additional level of service for the community. We started a discussion about Vanpool. I wanted the board to weigh in on just some things that I've been thinking about in terms of Vanpool. And that is, I would like to suspend that service because it's not being utilized. Because Jefferson Transit is allocating dollars to for the upkeep of those vehicles that are not being utilized. For this group's information, the state ride share program is no longer being funded by the state. So agencies are self-funding all ride share. Our vehicles are anywhere from 4 to 13 years past their useful life. So it's time to either purchase some new Vanpool vans or
Give it up.
and what I've been spending a lot of time thinking about is if we are looking at launching some other service, is there a better way that we could be spending or allocating those sales tax dollars? So the board did not make a decision on Vanpool. I really just wanted to kind of get the flavor of the board and, how were they thinking? Is this something that I should move forward on or not? And I did get the feeling that that it might be time to suspend, not end, just suspend, and maybe look at allocating those dollars to microtransit or Sunday service. Last point of discussion was on accounting and finance. As this group knows, Jefferson Transit is without a finance manager. We have hired an accounting specialist and she's doing great. She is from the county and, due to some budget cuts with the county, we were able to swoop in and snag her and she's been a great addition. But we do have some higher level finance work that needs to get done. And so I'm starting to think about, do we go out and hire a firm to help us fill that position? Do we look at hiring a consulting firm to help us with some of that more high level finance work? I'm a really great ops manager and I can manage a shop, but finance is a very unique skill set. And when you are without a finance manager, you can feel it. And we are without a finance manager. So just started having a discussion with the board about maybe some options for us. We do have a annual report that is due in May, and that's an important deadline, and Jefferson Transit's going to need some help with that. So that, in the nutshell, was the Jefferson Transit board meeting. And Fred, I just talked and I didn't let you jump in. Is there anything you wanted to add, or did I nail it?
No, that was great. That's great.
Very good.
Well done. Okay, thank you for that, Nicole. Any questions on the events from JTAB from the February 17th meeting?
And the temporary hire from county help with the thing that's coming up, or do you have to hire? You have to find someone with different skill set.
I don't know if they have the bandwidth.
Oh well.
Yeah. Okay. This is not a problem that is unique to Jefferson Transit. There are multiple agencies within the state that are struggling finding finance managers.
And that could be a role too that TAG can play in our role as ambassadors to increase ridership and support the agency. If any of you on the TAG are aware of any finance managers that might be in the area,
We could steal them.
please reach out to your networks. And the networks of your networks. And, there are so many people that appreciate the lifestyle that we have in this area. Maybe somebody would want to might want to jump to a great agency or come join us. So that's always a role that TAG can play as well.
Yeah, I noticed that all the nonprofits that I've volunteered for through the years, especially Bayside Housing, they were without a finance manager for the big top part for a whole year. And they struggle. Those board members did a great job.
And that's what we don't want to see for a for
I got one now.
So that's great. All right. With nothing else on the board, let's go to staff reports. Back to Nicole for those, and then also to Kelly for marketing update.
I think that I might just turn it over to Kelly, only because I'll do a lot of talking with one of our items. So the ridership is in the packet. I don't need to read that out to you, but I'll turn it over to Kelly.
I'm going to share my screen just so that everyone can see what I'm talking about when I'm explaining. I don't know how to get rid of this thing on the side either, so it will just be there. So some really important items are we have created a partnership in 2026 with Cortez and Main Street. So not only do we have a spot in their monthly online newsletters, we're working together on 3 main events with them: Concerts on the Dock, the downtown trick or treat and the Christmas tree lighting. So this means us promoting people taking the bus to these events and them promoting people taking the bus to these events. So win-win for everybody. And they're also going to support us in promoting our service changes that are happening, which they have, and our agency rebrand when we have more information about that. So really great partnership, and we're excited for that. We also have created an official partnership with the Production Alliance. So same type of thing. We are working together to promote people taking the bus to their events, and they will also be promoting people taking the bus and putting transportation instructions on their web pages. So lots of good collaboration with both of those agencies we're really happy with.
And they're all reporting the same information now, right?
Will be.
Not yet, one thing at a time.
Consistency.
Yes. And I wish Jeff was here because he kickstarted me on reaching out to the schools. It's been in the back of my mind to do, and he mentioned it. And yes, so I reached out to all of the schools, and I met with the Port Townsend High School principal, and he is all for us promoting transit. They do let me read it right so I don't get it wrong, weekly newsletter. So I'm thinking quarterly starting in March, putting something in their weekly newsletters. And then we're going to do a Transit 101 session with ninth graders in May. So that's super exciting. And he's 100% on board with that. And then the Brennan Middle School, same thing. They have Thursday folders. And so I'm thinking just doing like a quarterly flyer in their folders, as well as a Transit 101 with 5th, 6th, and then 7th and 8th graders in May. Wow. So it's a good start. And I know we've been talking more about youth. So this is just kind of a little jump start into talking to some of the schools and just promoting transit and our services, and getting youth comfortable with riding the bus and how to ride the bus. Yes.
So quick question for you on that. I noticed in the packet you had a very nice post, I believe, on Facebook about using Google to take transit. Thank you so much for that. That's
Yes.
lovely. Is that a possibility that we could use as you're doing that outreach and that Transit 101, because you've got a group there? Would it be possible to do a live demonstration with them on how to use that tool?
That's actually a great idea, because in the current Transit 101 presentations that I've been doing to share the service updates, I do have a Google thing in there. We don't do a live demo, but that's actually a very good idea. And yes, I think that's great to put that in.
High school
Thank you.
kids can probably teach that. Probably could, and they have the tools live during the presentation. So thanks, Kelly.
A quick agency rebrand update. Nicole did give an update. Madison Avenue Collective, also known as MAC, is the consultants we're going with. We have a kickoff meeting in March to go over the details and the timeline and everything. Would there be anybody on this advisory group that would be interested in a stakeholder or a focus group about the agency rebrand? Because those will be coming up. And if you're not, it is okay.
I'll
Do
volunteer.
you need to be artistic?
No, you do not need to be artistic. You just need to give feedback about what direction you feel for where the new logo is going. And it's going to be a very interactive process and community outreach throughout the whole entire thing.
Linda has volunteered. Do you want more than one person?
Only if people want to. If not, it's totally fine. I just wanted to make sure that we reach out to the TAG and the board for both of these opportunities.
I just want to check online too with Dave and John. Are either of you or both of you potentially interested in weighing in early on the draft marketing products that Kelly's spearheading?
All right.
John, I think you may be on mute.
No, okay, I should be off mute now. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. I think I would like to do that. It sounds interesting.
Oh, cool. Okay. That's great. I've noted that down. When I have more information, I'll reach out.
Great. And just want to make sure, Dave, is that of interest to you?
I think I'll pass on that opportunity.
Right, just-
I'll look for other places to plug in.
Sounds great. Just wanted to make sure that, we always involve the folks that are online. So yeah.
Yes. And I will update this group with any time. Yeah, every time we meet, I'll give an update of where we're at in the process. Transit tourism updates. I'm going to all of the meetings. I don't really have anything specific to update right now. We're just sharing information. I shared with them about the agency rebrand and the survey at TCC, and I'm going to send them an email with a link to the survey. They're all very excited about Sunday service. So I will continue to go to all of those meetings and report out in my report if, what we talked about or if there's anything important going on. Have I mentioned the Exploring the Olympic Peninsula brochure with you guys yet? So Clallam and Jefferson are collaborating on a Exploring the Olympic Peninsula with Transit brochure. So I've been working on designing it. It has a map that shows how you can get around the entire Olympic Peninsula and connect with all of the Florida transit agencies, as well as Island Transit and Kitsap Transit and the ferries. So I shared it with the transportation working group and they had some feedback. So we're trying to get it done before FIFA comes as a way to share it. And then all the visitors will have another form of something so they can go do and explore stuff while they're here. So I will share it with this group maybe at the next meeting. It's just in rough draft form. So
Great. That's all.
2 years ago, a senior project group at Port Townsend High School did a whole project of going all the way around the peninsula and posting their adventures and how much it cost and how long it took and where they stopped. I thought that was a great senior project.
Yeah. I know that we don't have tons of time, so I'm not going to explain anything more except for the last page. These are just some social media posts, and we did some outreaches where the bike clubs at the school, and I've been trying to do some fun coffee news posts and social media posts so everything kind of matches and get more engagement. And this is the long list of outreach that we have been doing for the proposed service changes and the survey. And I think it's paying off because we are getting a good number of respondents. So that is all that I have.
So just a quick pulse check here for all the members of the TAG. Anyone who hasn't taken the survey already, I hope that most of you have. But if you haven't, please go to the website. It's very easy to find. And please take the survey to add your suggestions and add your voices to the proposed service changes like Sunday service and combining the 2 and 3 and other changes as well. So if you haven't done it yet, I strongly encourage you to do it. And the deadline to fill it out is
March 17th.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I was going to say.
all right. Thank you, Kelly. Appreciate that. Okay, we go now to new agenda items. Does any member of the TAG have a new agenda item to add? Okay, that's great. Then we're going to go ahead and we're going to go into new business, and probably all of you who are looking at your agenda notice there's an item at the end called round robin. We tried that last time. People seem to enjoy us. We're going to do it again this time. I always let people know, though, who the first person will be to provide comments. And on the hot seat this time next to me is Becky, because we've been doing it by alphabetical order. So since she's the B in the group, she gets to start us off. But each of us will have that 2 minutes to respond to mostly to the present PowerPoint presentation that Nicole and I will be doing, but any other items on the new business agenda, of course, at any time during the new business. If you have a question, feel free to raise your hand and identify a topic, but just a reminder at the end, there's always time for each person to add their voice. And just so that you know it's coming, Becky is first, but Dave, you are on the hot seat second. Change my name from Veronica. Let us know if that happens at the May meeting.
How about email?
So the first item on the new business is the approved bylaws amendment. Nicole reminded us that JTAB approved those at their meeting on February 17th, which is very helpful. They have very positive comments about them. That one of my explicit roles as chair is to make sure that everyone is familiar with the bylaws. So they are in your packet, thanks to Amanda for putting them there. They have all the revisions that were voted on by the board. But it's just a reminder that there's a few changes in there. So this might be a good time as part of the newer year, not January anymore, but March, to just take a look through them and familiarize yourself with what's in there and what those bylaws look like. So I encourage you to do that. offline. The next item is proposed changes comment period, which Kelly kind of already covered. That's those, the QR code that you saw a few minutes ago. Kelly, if you want to put that, nope, closed
Oh,
down.
I already closed out.
Okay, that's
But
okay.
it is on our website.
It is on the website, so we've already covered that. Are there any questions about the proposed service changes, public comment period from TAG? How you can get involved in that and where it is on the website. Okay, all right, we're gonna move right along then. Preparing for 2026 special event season. You know, it's March and it seems a little early given the amount of rain that we're getting today, but our next meeting is May, and in the May meeting, I am sure it will be sparkling outside this room. And we'll be looking forward to Roadie Festival as the first, you know, what kicks off our season of special events. And along with that season of special events for the public, there's special events that promote transit services, and Kelly's at the lead for those, and we'll start having a schedule of when those will be. Often they're at the fairgrounds. There's Wooden Boat Festival, special ride, and other events too. And we typically ask everybody on the tag to attend 1 or 2 items per year with staff so that you can get to know the comments that the public is offering. You get to meet people. Often there's a bus that you get to get on and off, and people who haven't been on transit before can do that, and they can learn how to load a bike too. So as you're thinking about your schedule for the summer, please start thinking about our May meeting, and that will be a time when we have a list and we're going to be asking people to sign up. So just expect that next meeting. Rose first.
Connectivity Fairs 27th, 28th, and 29th.
That's a great reminder too.
Yes, and I loved it last year.
Mhm.
The bus was there, and all these kids got to pretend they were driving the bus. Do you remember
At
that?
the Connectivity Summit, we didn't have the bus.
Oh, it
We
was
did.
the all county.
Kelly and I,
There.
that was the fairgrounds.
But I
Wait,
think
was
it's
there another
great that
bus?
we're partnering with the production alliance.
Yes.
We are, and that you were going to be there again this year, Kelly? You were there last year.
Yeah, there's no tabling this year at the Connectivity Summit, but yes, Amy and I will be there representing Jefferson Transit on Saturday when they're doing the community networking.
Great. So if you are at the Connectivity Summit this weekend, thanks for the reminder, Rose, please stop by and say hi to Kelly and Amy and let them know
March 28th,
7th and 8th.
Yeah.
You're gonna be on there Saturday. the
Yeah,
28th.
Saturday.
That's what I was.
Also, the farmer's market starts in April. So the
Great
farmer's
reminder.
market is also both the Chimacum and the Port Townsend one. They're great opportunities.
It's actually my
Yes, and
preference to.
both of them are earlier.
Yeah.
Are we going to be tabling at any of those, either of the farmers markets this summer?
Yes. And I'm hoping to do some Wednesday markets as well. So
Awesome.
yeah, so I'll put those on the list of kind of, it's hard to pick dates when you don't know if you're going to have people available. So I like to know I have people before I pick a bunch of dates.
I would certainly be willing to participate on any of those that.
Okay.
Yeah, and me too. So if you're interested, would it be okay if people reached out directly to you to volunteer for the summer? Or there
Yes.
with availability for farmers markets or other events?
Yeah.
I know we're in the Roadie Parade typically. Is that happening again this year?
Yes, and I would love more volunteers for that to be walking the parade or on the bus with us so we can have a bigger presence and get more excitement of JTA staff on the bus and in the parade and the Quilcene Fair and Parade as well.
Oh,
Becky was
boy.
at
As long as I
I
don't
like
have to
that one.
run this year.
Did you have to run last year?
Yes.
Oh, God.
We don't let people sit still here.
I do not run. I will participate, but I do
Yeah,
not run.
yeah.
Well,
It was
once you
fun.
have that, like your initial calendar, we don't have to wait till May. That could be something that Amanda could send out early in advance, just as an FYI.
Yeah.
So that we can start noting our calendars for any days when we might like to attend with staff and support the good work that they're doing.
Yes.
But more on that, more specific dates for sure at the May meeting. And certainly since Roadie Festival is coming up after our May meeting, we can certainly have volunteers there. But if anybody wants to volunteer for Roadie Fest tonight, I mean, it sounds like it's a ways off, but golly, we're eager beavers here, so. If you have,
Let's see.
please reach it.
To walk in the fair, the parade, is that what you want?
Ride.
I want to ride.
Ride.
Yes.
So
Make
those,
like a crazy costume, like roadies all over yourself.
you can wear whatever you feel like you can have your roadie wish come true.
And I buy a Jefferson Transit vest.
Yes, we do. True, appropriately. So, so that would be something where people could reach out directly to Kelly offline though, with any kind of interest. So the big agenda for this evening, or the big agenda item for this evening, and you've noticed tonight's meeting is a little on the lighter side than we usually pack it. And that's because often when we have speakers, they have a lot to say and it takes up a lot of the meeting. So tonight's meeting is deliberately a little quieter to allow us a chance to sit and kind of talk about the process that Jefferson Transit staff use to prepare for changes in service. And this is based on an email that you all got from Amanda at the end of 2025. When we put out a question, what would you like to hear about in 2026? And multiple people came back with kind of a similar comment, which is, I'd like to understand more about the process that led to service changes. How did that get done? And that was like, there could be a whole meeting that we could talk about that on. So that is today what we're going to do, talk about the whole meeting. And looks like we have our PowerPoint up. That's excellent teamwork on the JTA staff side. Thank you for that. So that's what we're going to do tonight is, sometimes it can look a little mysterious from behind the scenes. How did that get started? Whose idea was it? Did it start with the board? Did it start with staff? Did it start with a comment from the public or combination? Or did it maybe start with a comment from the tag? In some cases, it can be any of those things or other things. So Nicole and I have put together a PowerPoint presentation to walk through how service changes start from input from the public, input from JTAB, input from staff, and information and data that they might get, for example, from ridership reports, the same ones you see in your packet. So we're going to walk through that process today, step by step, and then we'll have lots of time at the end to go through and ask each person for their feedback and thoughts on it, and we can ask questions along the way as well.
So I thought we would start off by, again, just reminding the group of Jefferson Transit's or Jefferson Transit's tag mission. And it is the mission of the Jefferson Transit Authority Transit Advisory Group to advocate for public transit and to serve as a resource to the Jefferson Transit Authority Board in accomplishing Jefferson Transit Authority's missions and goals. So important that we just we center ourselves in our mission. Next, we are wanted to just talk about how do we come up with these ideas? Is Nicole just thinking these things when she's walking up Fort Worden, or does she have harebrained ideas, or how do we get to where, you know, how do we land on an idea and how do we fully develop that idea? So yeah, here we go. Do we want to start it ongoing?
Yeah, this start at the top. This is an ongoing cycle. It's in some sense, this is almost like an idea called, sometimes people refer to it as adaptive management. You're always learning, you're always changing, and you're always developing. So that's why you're seeing a cycle, arrows going back and forth all the time, because just as we learned over the last year with proposals from consultants and technical documents that we read, ideas are always out there about how to make things better, and that can come from the public or others as well. So we're starting the cycle though at the top of that circle, which is monitor ridership, look at cost efficiency, and monitor public feedback as well. And then the other pieces that aren't in that bubble because it just was too small to contain all the big ideas we all have would be staff monitoring ongoing issues. It would be input from the board, and it would be input from TAG as well. So all of those things are always ongoing, and where it seems like a change needs to move forward, the next change goes to Nicole.
Typically, we're looking at hiring a consultant to help us kind of facilitate an idea or a possible change. And some of the documents that Jefferson Transit has been involved in a kind of a planning process for several years, and I feel like now we're starting to just really implement some of those ideas. And I would say the first real planning document came in 2022, which was our long range plan. From that long range plan, there was a component that said, JTA staff, you need to develop a climate action plan. So a climate action plan was developed. And then there was a comprehensive operational analysis done. And those three documents really kind of feed into one another, but it sets a framework for Jefferson Transit staff to start thinking about what direction are we taking the agency, what has been identified as a priority from the public, from the board, from TAG, and helps us come up with a timeline in order to accomplish some of those goals. And, one thing about Jefferson Transit is I don't think that we move necessarily fast, but we move strategically. So sometimes it feels like we might be plodding along, but we really are making progress. And I think this year we're, it's a year of implementation. So we're really starting to make some of those changes and see some of those recommendations come in. But that's where hiring a consultant, using an RFP, the consultant is really helping us analyze possible solutions, make recommendations. We saw that with the climate action plan. We saw that with our comprehensive operational analysis. And then we really wanted to highlight where's TAG helping us and how is this group feeding into this cycle. And that is, I really value this group and the work that this group does. And I think that our citizens group is really one that other agencies are modeling after.
Column is going to have one.
I know. And I have forwarded them our bylaws and talked all of them out and bragged about our group. So yeah, but it's so important to get feedback from this group. This is where we're hearing about what's happening in the community. It's you guys are
the public.
You're out there and you're feeding us information. So important. And then this is the time, when we are inviting the consultants into this space to talk about the progress that we're making. That's our time for you to provide us feedback and for us to take that feedback and integrate it into our next steps.
And a good example of this would be a couple of the things that we saw in 2024 and 2025. You may remember consultants named Left Turn, Right Turn.
Yes.
Coming in and doing some really knock 'em dead, excellent presentations. That's the first stage of where TAG can weigh in and say, we like where you're going, or we don't like where you're going, or we think something's missing with where you're going. So that's why those conversations happen at TAG, is we're one of the first stops along the process when a new plan is being developed or service changes are being considered. So that's why you see those technical presentations. It's also why you see the ability to review draft technical documents that sometimes are eye-poppingly detailed. For somebody like me who thrives on that, I just love it so much, but not everyone does. And when you get a request to review a document, you can weigh in wherever you want. You can just read the executive summary and say, these are my thoughts. You can dive into the whole thing and read it. It's whatever works for you. We certainly encourage you not only to, attend the TAG meetings and hear the recommendations of the consultants, but also review those draft documents when they have a chance to come your way.
Yes. We're, as a public agency, we're going out to the public and we're asking for feedback. And we're always looking for ways to increase the amount of public feedback we're getting. Again, we're getting excited about the number of people responding to our surveys. you know, and sometimes it's a mixed bag. Sometimes we don't get much response, and you know, sometimes we'll say, oh, it's because we're doing great, but that kind of follow because they're not telling us we're doing great. It's but we're excited about the amount of responses we're getting this time. But then we look at making further revisions based on the feedback that we're getting from the public, from TAG, from the board. Do we need to course correct? Are we missing the mark somewhere? This is our staff's opportunity to work with consultants to refine what we've proposed. And then, of course, big changes get run through the board, and the board will essentially have the a thumbs up or thumbs down, like yes, staff, let's move forward, or let's maybe take a minute and rethink the direction that we're going. So then that leads to implementing service changes, and I would say that Jefferson Transit staff has been really thoughtful about implementing service changes. And one thing I never want to have happen is to roll something out and then have to pull it back because we either cannot meet expectations, we're not able to deliver on what we promised. So if we are saying we're going to do something, I really feel confident that we are going to be able to do it, because it's not lost on me that people are standing on the side of the road waiting for a bus to come. And I want to make sure that we're fully staffed and that our staff can handle the increase in service, that we're able to handle internally those changes. So we're very thoughtful. So at times it may feel like we're moving a bit slowly or slower than you would like, but just bear with us. We're going to get there. We always get there.
So I think we have a couple other slides that illustrate how this cycle is in action.
Yeah, so we kind of touched on this a little, but the review process and kind of what that looks like, it's, attending TAG meetings, it's reviewing the plans, technical documents, and sharing written comments with staff and making recommendations to the full authority board. Attending public meetings. I will tell you, there's nothing worse than hosting a public meeting and having like 3 people show up. So we do like it when all of you show up, but that when you also bring people or help us to get more of an audience. And then it's responding to public surveys. So when we have public surveys, it's really the time for the public to provide us feedback. And there's nothing worse than feeling like we're on the right track, and then after the fact, then public starts piping up. So we want to make sure that the public has an opportunity to be heard, and to let us know if we're on track or not.
And another good example of the being heard would be we have time for public comments at the beginning and the end of every TAG meeting. So for example, in January, we heard from somebody that was concerned about some of the changes on the 11th. And so that's another route that we provide through these meetings for people to make their voice heard as the general public.
So we just kind of wanted to high level talk about some of our plans, changes, recommendations. So in 2024, we completed the development of the Climate Action Plan. We created a new website. We advanced on the long range plan. And we brought forth a review of the annual transit development plan to this group for comment. 2025, as the group remembers, we had presentations on the creation of our comprehensive operational analysis that was done by Left Turn, Right Turn. We did do I speed up?
No, I'm sorry. We have lost John, and I think we have potentially lost our quorum.
He's still there. He's been.
Oh, okay.
Internet.
I just wanted to make sure that he hadn't jumped off, because if he did, we are
Internet issues.
just checking. Sorry, I'm sorry, Nicole.
So annually, we review the transit development plan with this group, and again, that's an opportunity for you to just let us know if we're on the right track. If we don't put something in the transit development plan, we cannot go out for grant funding. So our plans build on one another, and that's a really important plan for the agency. Ongoing, staff attends multiple meetings each month. We're at the city council meetings when needed. If we're not needed there, typically I'm watching them at a later date just because they run late. Board of County Commissioner meetings. I typically have those on in the background on Monday mornings. Local and regional planning meetings. So I'm a part of the executive board on the PRTPO, the Peninsula Regional Planning organization. It's been a rough, Nicole.
Lots of acronyms.
I'm on the Economic Development Council here. Our highly esteemed executive director is here with us. So lots of economic development, LTAC, TCC, which Kelly sits on. But yeah, we're attending these meetings, and we're piping up when necessary to really advocate for transit and remind the community that we're a player, and we're here to help connect the community in all sorts of ways. So, anything to add?
Just really quickly, that we had a chance to review TAG had a chance to review all these documents and all these ideas in place. And, the next slide really leads us into what we're going to be reviewing and weighing in on for this year.
Yes, we got a lot going on. So annual transit development plan, for those that don't remember or are new, we bring the transit development plan to the board in June. We have a public hearing in July, and we have the board vote on it in August. So that means at the July meeting, we bring that plan to TAG for review and input. So we do spend some time at the July meeting talking about the transit development plan. We have new service recommendations that are happening right now. Right now is a great time for you to offer feedback to us. You can do that through the survey. I would appreciate it if you fill out the survey, but also email us. You all have Amanda's email, my email, so don't be shy. If you have feedback, let us know. But just as a quick overview, if you remember, we are looking at modifying the 3 and the 2, and at one point we were talking about calling it the 23, and we decided not to do that because it's not really it's a new route. So we're calling it the San Juan Connector. And as a reminder, any areas that we're pulling away service, we are adding microtransit. So the goal is not to eliminate service area, but to have another option. And as a reminder, microtransit is home to hub. So we are looking at picking up from your home and bringing to hub.
Nearest hub.
Yes. And so we are still kind of looking through what those hubs might be. We're thinking Haynes Place, Four Corners, possibly the hospital as a hub. Goal is to connect individuals to fixed route. And it's not to be an Uber. Uber is very expensive, but getting people into our fixed route system is really the goal. So looking at Hastings, Cook, Cape George areas, Discovery, all the areas where it's very difficult to run a fixed route bus. CAD AVL technology, we've been talking about Where's My Bus, and that is a technology that has been, I've talked about, we're slowly kind of making forward progress, and that is one where we are looking to get an RFP out probably in the next month and a half. So we're making progress on that, but we're working on timing with our paratransit software. So paratransit software needs to come first in order for us to do microtransit. So it all, we have a plan is what I'm saying. We have a plan. Agency rebrand and marketing plan. Again, with the agency rebrand, we are looking to make sure that our outward communications match the energy of Jefferson Transit and the work that we've been doing. It's more than just updating our logo, but it's how are we communicating with the public, and how are we modernizing the work and the service that we're providing, and also saying goodbye to our logo. Haynes Place redesign. We need more space for our buses, and we need to be able to charge our buses, and we need to create a safer space than what we currently have. Gateway Visitor Center, we are looking at purchasing that property. We are going through a NEPA-SEPA right now. You need to do that before you purchase, so we're starting that because we will need some grant funding. And then service changes in the Tri area. We had talked about in the COA making some changes in the Tri area. We're recognizing that that's going to be more of a hub, recognizing that people would like to move within that community as opposed to just come in and out of Port Townsend. And then really looking at Mason Street project. How are we serving that up and coming? How those housing options, a pool, if we're going in that direction, how are we servicing that? But really thinking about how our presence is in the Tri area, and making it easier for students and the community at large to travel between the two locations. Right now, it's a 55-minute route. How can we do that faster? So those are some of the things that we're thinking about.
So that's the bulk of the PowerPoint slide there, Nicole. Thank you so much. Great presentation. Well done. This is our chance now to just kind of remind ourselves that, as some of these things are wrapping up, the surface changes are wrapping up. We're going to be wrapping up. Are we going to, is JTA going to move forward on Sunday service? We're going to wrap up on the San Juan connector. The wrapping up of that though, as Nicole pointed out in the last slide, means that they take up other things. So there are things coming for 26 and 27 where you're going to have a chance to see presentations from consultants. You may have a chance to review a document or documents. You may be reviewing the results of the marketing plan. Other things like that are headed your way over the next year and the year after that. So as you think about these meetings, and I've really appreciated, by the way, everybody's willingness to really read the packet and be, come to the meeting with that in mind. So thank you to each of you for that. I think it's made our meetings a lot richer. It does also mean, though, that there's still that opportunity to read even more if you want to. That those things are coming, and there's lots of exciting things that JTA staff are considering that'll make transit more accessible and easier to follow and safer for our community. So those are the things we're thinking about, but always we are in that top box, always that ongoing feedback from TAG, always an opportunity during these meetings to hear a voice or concern about something that either you've experienced or that you've heard in the community. We're, in some sense, we have an ambassadorial role. If you're hearing something from your neighbors that indicates, a change on a route was positive or maybe not positive, this is a way, when we have these meetings, this is a place to bring that information in. So that ongoing feedback is welcome at every meeting. And you may see this slide, that little circle again, next time we're doing planning, was just a reminder that there's always ongoing work. Some work is wrapping up, some work is starting, some work is in progress. Well, thank you, Nicole, for a great presentation. I really appreciate that. And I know everybody's been ready for our 2 minutes. Some have been more anxiously awaiting it than others. But we're going to start with Becky. The next one is Dave. Becky, do you want to kick us off with thoughts on the presentation or any other items?
The whole presentation. So
any part.
The first thing I want to say is plodding along is not appropriate. I have had personal experience with a number of public entities, and that's not the case here. So, there was a definite plan, really.
Good job.
You're not
Good job.
plotting.
Yeah.
And that particularly, that there are plans that have a date that this has to happen. You know, I have seen lots of public plans
The future.
wander, go off to a shelf somewhere and are never seen. So I think that this is all great. I would like to make a pitch for getting a stop closer to the high school, which is what we heard at our parks board meeting from high school students, that they'd really love to take the bus, but the stop is too far away from the actual high school, although they are teenagers, they could walk. So there is that. And really, the idea that you're going to be spending time with youth, I love that, because we really want them to get on the bus. That's who needs to be on the bus.
When you say stop, am I allowed?
Yeah,
yeah.
please jump in.
When we say stop closer to the high school, are we thinking the 11? Are we thinking the 2?
Where they didn't say.
We are thinking that you're going to magically come up with the world's best idea.
Much of it was about after school stuff. So let me look at the schedule. You know what? Why don't we ask a kid?
Yeah, that's the perfect idea. And
Because I hear it a lot. And I mean, off the top of my head, like several things, right? Like, will the road support a fixed route bus?
Right.
If we've increased frequency on the 11 and we're deviating from the 11, we're now no longer able to do a 20 minute.
20 minutes, right.
Are we thinking the number 2 route, which will change to be the San Juan connector? Is there a way to route that through possibly? Because that will be every half an hour. Anyway, I'm thinking about these things, and then I'm also thinking we're 3 blocks away from the nearest bus stop. I just took up your time.
Yeah.
But those are the
You know what? I'm taking all the compliments back. No.
Whoa, this is a tough crowd.
I think we ask the students what
Yeah.
it is, because we now have this group that really wants to talk to us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they will have great ideas, and most of them you'll have to say, I'm sorry, we can't do that. But there'll be a few in there that will work.
Yeah.
Well, could it be too that kind of 1/4 mile pedestrian shed, the classic for transit planning? You know, where are those? How do you know?
Buses are
It
there.
would even be a great exercise that the school could do
Yeah.
to kind of say what routes are
What
now
do you
within
suggest?
1/4 mile, and educating about you've got more. You know, what options do you have?
Excellent.
All right, Becky, anything else? I think I'll yield some of your time officially back. Anything else? Any other comments? All right, Dave, over to you. Comments on the slideshow.
Yes, I would have to comment also, just, I think I've maybe been on JTAG for a couple of years. I don't know, is that right, Nicole?
I think
I would
so.
have to echo the sentiment that I don't think this is a plodding pace at all, because in my short time being associated with this group, I mean, I think I've seen the launch of the Kingston shuttle, these service changes, of course, the climate action plan, and the service study, and to be talking about implementation of some of these larger changes in just this short time period, it's pretty notable. So I would have to say that I'm really pleased with the direction and the pace at which these changes take place. I'm really excited about the Sunday service and also the microtransit. And in terms of those things that I might be interested in some further presentation on in the future would be being a member of working for a public service entity myself. Be really interested, Nicole, in hearing what some of the lessons learned were in this implementation phase, because it's really interesting. I mean, it's really good to get studies together and take that public input, but to actually launch something, really curious as to how it went for some of these route changes service changes, and also the specifically, I'm really interested in microtransit, home to hub. See what some of the other successful models that you may be borrowing from, how that's been working and how that will work. In terms of places where I am happy to plug in to assist would be the Gateway Center planning, also Haynes Place redesign. Specifically because for a project that we have at the port, we're in the running for getting some implementation, or I would say feasibility study dollars for a microgrid facility at Boat Haven. And the interest there would be, I know that with the electrification of the fleet that you're kind of transitioning into incrementally, is that need to be able to provide essential services for your electric fleet. In other words, what if there's a power outage like we had last year that lasted for about 6 hours? Or, you know, some of the other power outages that we have, what do we do for those essential services to be able to, you know, supply our fleet and recharge? So those are two places I'm willing to, really happy to see. I did pass up on that marketing.
Yeah, but you made it all better.
It's not my bailiwick. But in some of these other areas, pretty interested in seeing how the planning processes work and ready to assist in maybe reviewing proposals or whatever it takes. So that being said, I would say, yeah, those are my only comments.
Great comments. Appreciate that, Dave. And I realize since we're a little ahead of schedule, I'm going to give everybody a couple extra minutes. So Becky, if you want to yield more time at the end, just so that's, if you have any comment, we're going to swing back to Becky at the end. Debbie, I did not let you know that you were going to be after Dave, but you're on the hot seat. But I figure you can handle it. After Debbie is going to be John.
Mine is, I don't know if this is a problem with transit. It is certainly a problem with the city, and it's about hiring consultants. The public has a misperception that the full-time employee should be able to do everything and you shouldn't be spending any money on consultants. And I don't see that being a problem here. And I would really appreciate having more information about how you manage that, because with going through the city, going through the whole comp plan process, and there's all this, well, what do you mean you need to hire a consultant? And it's like, everybody's not an expert on everything. You want to hire an expert on that, not on, how do you do that? I would really like to have more information about how you separate. Yes, we have an RFP to hire a consultant. None of our staff can do this. They're already working overtime. How do you educate the public about that?
I would like to know how you pick them too, because for some reason you pick the
Really
best
good consultants.
You know, the first question, Jefferson Transit hasn't received a lot of pushback on the hiring of consultants. If we did receive pushback, I would say that Jefferson Transit does not have a transit planner on staff. I attend the Washington State Transit Association Transit Planner Group. And I try to suck all the information I can from the transit planners around the state who have gone to school for transit planning. But I think, you know, if we were to receive pushback, I would say we are very good at what we do, which is
not
providing service, but we do not have a transit planner on staff, and we need help with that. And I would also say we need to be very careful with our public dollars. And I want to make sure that if we're going down a route, if we're going that it's very well thought out, and that we have some data to back it up. And we do need help. We hired a owner's rep to help us with our construction projects, because none of us on staff are experts in constructing large capital projects. And that's fine. I think asking for help and soliciting help when needed. So we haven't received a lot of pushback, but if we did, I would start saying,
because the city gets a lot, and it makes no sense to me. They're doing things that staff are already working full-time and more for, and that's not their expertise. So
And I like to think that staff pay close attention to the type of people that we're hiring and making sure that we have a connection with the individuals that we're speaking with and that they are coming to us with transit experience and they're coming to us with rural transit experience. And I think that's where it really makes a difference.
Whole different
You can tell me that you've worked with community transit and that while that is impressive, we're not the same. And so finding consultants that have worked with smaller agencies with smaller budgets and are able to still produce is, I think, one thing that our entire staff is good at. So I like that you said me, but because when we are hiring a consultant, it's a panel. So we kind of all work together to hire them.
They've all been fabulous.
They have to- yeah.
And I mean, the city hires consultants all the time, but the members of the public don't seem to understand.
Yeah.
That's not in somebody's job description that's working full-time in planning or public or municipal finance.
I would say 80% of staff time is just keeping us moving, just keeping us on the track. And that leaves 20%. And
don't have
if something comes up, that eats into the additional 20%. So, yeah, we need help to plod along.
Or sprint along.
Well, thank you.
John, you're up next and then Rose.
Oh,
I think we're muted, John. You're muted. We can't hear you. No, can't hear you now. No,
You're
we
muted.
cannot hear you.
Oops, we lost him.
And after Rose, Fred, we're gonna turn to you for your thoughts too while John's getting his
Unmuted.
his stuff together. And then Dave, did you want to say something? Okay, we'll come at the end.
We lost John.
He'll not back. He'll probably come back. He's been coming and going. On our meeting.
Okay, might be. All right, we're gonna wait for John then and go to Rose, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I like being at the end or towards the end of the alphabet because I agree.
All right.
I was going to say that. But since I sit on 4 volunteer committees that all segue with transit, I'm getting ready to join a 5th, which I would love to turn over to you, my idea, because I'm joining KPTZ future-wise to become a neighborhood hub amateur ham radio operator that segues into Willie Force's emergency response plan. But currently, I will be doing outreach for the other committees I sit on to hook them up to, as a volunteer, to KPTZ. Yeah, and I'm like, it's on and off all day, depending on what shows are on. But top of the hour and community calendar and all that stuff, and the weekend events are fun. But I'd like to see more transit on KPTZ. So I can be the liaison and forward it all to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the events that we're going to be at. That's the first thing when we were talking about Rhodey and the Quilcene Fair and the Production Alliance and all that stuff. Yeah, that's all on KPTZ. So they could put that at the end of every event about transit.
Oh, I like that idea. So
Yeah.
when it happens,
I'm
you
such
can
a radio
reach out
head.
to me and
I've had listener-supported radio shows myself, but I don't want a show. Well, they can interview me. But, my future goal is the ham radio operator. I've wanted that since I was in the 7th grade. But I do agree with everything everybody said. I like the questions.
Do you have any questions on the process circle at all?
Oh, no, that's fabulous.
Is it understandable? And
Oh, yeah, it's perfectly clear. Oh, and I have one more idea. Thank goodness for Jefferson Healthcare has hired 2 years ago, almost 2 years, a social worker, Jefferson Healthcare Navigator, which gets people hooked into Dial-A-Ride for you with permission, with your doctor and filling out everything and then meeting with you, and you fill out your part, sign it, and they send it in to Sarah Peck. Yeah. So that is, turned so many people onto that are into the aging stage, or they've had an operation. You know, to get Dial-A-Ride, I just give them Jacinda Kay's number. And you can get it by just calling the hospital number and asking for the navigator. Yeah, which is beyond just being a social worker. There are good social workers there and ethics people that are social workers. But that navigator has really helped so many people that I've turned them on to.
And that could be something for microtransit as well. If there's a central person.
Yeah,
with
that's what I
with
meant.
answer, yeah.
Yeah, like turn that over to Jacinda Kay.
All right. That's a great idea.
Tom's back and he's unmuted.
Okay.
And that's all I
Is that I was just say, just make sure Rose is finished with her thoughts.
I think that's about it. But did you say that in the future we might have a consultant coming to speak when you get one for different projects? At the tag meeting?
We have been doing that.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We did that several times last year, and it'll be
Probably missed those with the long haul syndrome.
might have been, yeah. But for example, when there was getting ready for the service changes, left turn.
Oh,
right
yeah.
turn,
Yeah, that was
That
was consultant.
Those were consultants.
I really enjoyed that. I mean, I got a lot of information out of it.
Yeah. So they did a bang up. I think there's general consensus. They did a great
And
job.
I loved hooking up with Willie Force and I can't remember the 2-year fire chief's name.
Willie Benz.
But it's
Yeah, but I really liked them.
Black, yeah.
Oh,
They're Black. On the emergency preparedness. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, because when I was out at the old alcohol plant for 6.5 years, working in the gardens in the common area, that was my first volunteer committee. We got hauled in a semi trailer full of emergency supplies for the neighborhood, but they don't have a KPTC hub coordinator yet. So that's my goal.
Okay. All right. That sounds
That's it.
great. That sounds great. Appreciate that, Rose. John, over to you.
Well, let's try this again.
Yeah, there you are.
I apologize that I keep getting kicked off of Zoom.
Oh no.
It started happening.
Oh no. Okay, well, we've lost John, but we have high hopes he will be back again. So Fred, you're in the hot seat now. Any thoughts on what you heard tonight for new business or the PowerPoint presentation?
Well, lots of thoughts, but of course, I'm the newest person to this discussion, and so you probably have talked about a lot of this before. But I do think the discussion around the tri-area and service there is going to be a really important thing. If the pool goes in out there, and of course the big habitat project that's going to be there, and just the growing energy and activity in the tri-area, I think it's going to be really important. And if we've ever, I'm sure you've all seen the parade of cars into town from Chimicum and Hadlock in the morning, for people coming in here to go to work. And the more that we can let people work and not have to own a car or rely on a car, we're just putting money in people's pockets, and I think that's really important. It's going to be. If you can operate without a car, then I don't know how many thousands of dollars a year that saves you, but it's significant with insurance and gas and repairs and all of that kind of thing. So the more we can promote that, I think the better. And we all know that the secret to transit and really getting a lot of ridership is the convenience of it, and the more that we can be convenient for people, the better. So talking about the high school thing, for example, if we know that there's going to be 200 high school students coming out of the school at a particular time, and we could have a bus right there, I think a lot of them would just step onto it versus walking three blocks down the street to catch a bus. But I'm sure you guys are all aware of these kind of issues. Pretty excited about the microtransit and reaching out to Cape George and these other areas. Again, that's just a way to bring us all together and allow people to have access to all the services that we provide without having to drive your own personal vehicle. I love all of those ideas, and I think we're really on the right track. All we can do is just continue to move forward and improve and gather data about where we're needed and how we can provide those services and just move forward. So those are my basic thoughts. I often think about events as a good way to promote buses, like the ski bus, the farm tour bus, any kind of a thing that's connected to an event that's fun, and you can just get on the bus and it'll just take you to all the event places. I think that kind of thing is pretty popular, and I don't know what the practicality of that would be with Jefferson Transit, but it's just from a promotional standpoint, it just gets people excited about being on the bus and being social with other people and not having to drive.
So that is going to be one of our topics in May is legally what the framework is about what Jefferson Transit can and cannot do to support special event transit and how they manage to do Wooden Boat within that framework. So that's leading us into the next. That's why. So it's
I'm not here at the next meeting.
Oh, no. Okay. All right. Not in May anymore, but July. That was July now. That's okay. But it's good, Fred. It's a good reminder. Since we have John here, I want to go. Want to go right to him while we have him. No. Oh my goodness.
We lost him again.
All right. So what I'm going to do really quick is go to, and then we'll come back when John is back with us. Is our last agenda item is agenda planning. So one of the things I want to talk with you a little bit, in your packet, you have a draft of all the topics you're going to see for the rest of the year. One of the things that's come up is two different things. The county is getting ready to embark on 2 areas of outreach and engagement with the public. One is economic development. The Intergovernmental Council is ICG is getting ready to do an economic development strategic plan. And then also there's beginning at the Connectivity Summit, there is a youth engagement efforts going on. So both of those were scheduled to be heard this year. I originally put May for economic development because that's the end of the school year. And people are kind of sunsetting how they think about those kinds of issues. And then brought it back in September, but both of those are coming forward. So I wanted to hear from all of you if you thought we should push youth mobility to May and then do economic development in July or September instead. Thoughts on that?
My thought on that is if we want to have a student, we've just, on the park board in the city, we now are recruiting a student and recruiting them as having a 1 year service on the board, and they would get a credit as a student, as a senior project. And so if we're going to have this discussion to serve this coming year, May is probably better than September. So I don't know exactly what your goals are, but I would prefer May under those circumstances.
Other thoughts on that?
I just have a question. So if the intergovernmental group is going to be doing economic development together,
Yeah, they just had their
correct?
first meeting. Yeah.
So when will they be implementing those things? Like when will we be most useful in that regard?
Useful is pretty much always early. And Nicole is sitting in on those meetings. So
intergovernmental.
I attend.
Yeah.
I don't have a seat at the table.
But they're getting started on that. They had their first strategic planning meeting. So in some ways they're both kind of at about the same time. So it's not necessarily a clear cut, well, this one's going forward faster than the other. It's partly potentially timing of the school year is a factor as well.
Yeah. And they meet how often?
They meet ICG meets like once a month or every other month or something like that. They have an odd schedule.
Yeah.
Fred, do you know you're on ICG?
Yes. What's the question?
When is the next meeting? I think it's April, right?
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know.
I think it's like every other month. They have an odd.
It is. They just added a whole bunch of them. I'd have to go back and find my calendar somewhere.
David might.
I bet.
But
But I do think the school year
It's got a calendar.
is an issue as well. And so some of these kids that are on the leadership group right now are probably seniors and juniors and seniors. Now they're going to be gone. The seniors will be, but the juniors will be just thinking about their senior project or whatever.
It would be nice if we could offer something in time for the next school year.
Question on that, question to you. Do you connect with the Nest or the Recovery Cafe?
Yeah.
Cool, because I love both places.
The Nest, yeah.
And beyond Boiler Room.
So
Think about
other
it and email. I don't know.
I think the next ICG meeting is on April 23rd.
yeah, I think it's April.
He was looking at his calendar.
Well, the other factor too is Nicole is not going to be here in May.
Right.
So that's a factor as well, in terms of the topic that we have. One of the things that we could do, is part of this is dependent on getting speakers for this too, because everybody has to be available at 5:00 on a Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month. So I could put feelers out for these things. Maybe what we do is compromise, see what we get. And look at who we can get for May and June, and then essentially push the if youth and mobility can go in May, we could do economic development in July and push connectivity to September. Just getting in quicker on that. So any other thoughts about that? We were about 5 minutes, and then we have David here from EDC, I assume, speaking on behalf of EDC. We want to hear from him as well. So any other thoughts on the meeting about what should go first? What topic should go first?
Did John ever get to speak?
And John is here now with us. Yes.
Oh, John.
Well, I don't know what's wrong. It started to happen earlier this week at a Zoom meeting I was hosting, but I keep getting kicked off.
Oh, sorry.
And I'm working on I'm working on getting it fixed. So anyway, I was happy to be able to see the slide presentation today. Got a lot out of that. I enjoyed that, and to see know that changes are being made. I think that's important. And I continue to be very pleased that the community I chose for retirement and to become a
Oh, John, if you can hear us, we can no longer hear you. You're frozen. Darn. So what I'm going to suggest maybe is that we reach out to John offline. Amanda, would you be willing to send him an email and make sure that the whole group can hear his thoughts? Because we've only got 5 minutes left in the meeting, and I think his IT things are telling us it's not going to work.
Not going to happen today.
So with that, then we were wrapping up on the calendar. Would everyone be comfortable with me just reaching out to speakers and seeing who's available?
Yeah.
Recognizing that also that we'll have a meeting without Nicole with us that could influence what it is that we're talking about. We do have David Bailiff from EDC with us today. I want to invite him to come up for a minute or two and tell us what brought you here tonight, and then we'll go ahead and do public comments.
Okay.
And
It's a little small to stand up, so I'll just come to the table. Hi, yeah, David Bailiff with Economic Development Council. Thanks for all your work. Appreciate it. Just wanted to learn and do some public engagement. Just for situational awareness, the Economic Development Council is leading a process over the next few weeks that I think could be one of the most, if not the most, consequential for economic development and new jobs for the next decade in Jefferson County and in many ways for the country. There's a special tax provision called Opportunity Zones. It's a federal tax program that has been updated as of last summer, and we're going through a process. Every state is in the country now for the next few months to determine which specific parts in each state will be eligible for Opportunity Zones 2.0. In a nutshell, it's an extremely lucrative tax program that allows for very large tax breaks for investments in areas that are historically distressed with either low levels of median income or high levels of poverty. So specifically in Jefferson County, we have 3 areas, census tracts that are likely, we don't have confirmation yet, but that are likely to be eligible for Opportunity Zone 2.0. It's a highly competitive process where of all the areas in Washington state that will be eligible, only 25% will ultimately go forward and become eligible. So we're very hopeful that we'll get at least 1 in Jefferson, and we would be thrilled if we were to get 2. One is of the areas we're looking at is in Brennan and the west end of Jefferson County. It's a massive census tract. And the other is spans most of the waterfront in Port Townsend, through the boatyard, up Castle Hill, and around the hospital. So we're really focused on that particular area. It's a pretty heavy process. It's going to move very quickly between March 10th and April 10th, where we will be compiling information at the EDC in order to put forward our nomination to be competitive at the state level, to put us forward to the governor, who will then put us forward to the federal government. So that's going on. The sort of transit intersection is one of the many criteria to get more points for that nomination is that the area is in an identified growth zone or is transit accessible, which of course the Port Townsend area would be. But there's a number of other things for us to go through. Specifically, and most important, is to identify that there will indeed be investment from this program here, because we don't want to waste these areas. And so for us to go through and identify a number of very specific sort of quote unquote shovel ready investments. We also get points, extra points for housing. And so if we can identify new investments in housing, the more housing, the better, the more points we can get at the state level. So that's an important process we'll be working through over the next couple of weeks, very aggressively, very tight turnaround. I'll be speaking more in depth at the county commissioners, Jefferson County Board of County Commissioners this Monday at 11 a.m. Feel free to tune in for that. And then sort of moving forward with our counterparts from the county and the city. But thanks for the opportunity.
Great, appreciate that. Thanks, David, for
Excellent.
bringing that to our attention. Certainly, we
Yeah.
hope that
Just
that will include a robust assessment of the transit services that we have today and the ones that are coming.
Exactly. Yep.
Excellent.
And the service changes will be perfect
Coming.
for this. Yep.
Okay, appreciate that, David. Thank you for coming to visit with us today. We do have to go back to public comments. Does staff have any response to David's comments from the EDC before we go to public comment?
My immediate thought was we have a board meeting on March 17th and possibly adding you to the agenda to come do a quick. That might be
Great.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a great idea.
Exciting.
It'd be
no
extremely.
green beer.
Not at a public meeting. Can we go ahead? So
After.
Amanda? Does any member of the public wish to give public comment? If you are online, please raise your hand. If you are on the phone, please press *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute.
There's no hands up online.
Okay, with that, I will close public comments. John, we're going to give you one last chance. And what we figured is if we can't hear it, maybe you could email all of us.
Okay. Okay. Well, I sure apologize, and I'm working on getting this problem taken care of. Like I said earlier, it started this week, and I hope to have a new network set up next week. As far as like I said earlier, I got a lot out of the slides today. That was a good presentation, and I have completed the survey. I'm happy to see the changes that are coming, and look forward to seeing how they all work out. And as I was always also starting to say, I'm glad I chose a community to spend my retired years that has a good transit system. And little did I know when I moved here that I would be in a wheelchair and a non-driver, so it's made a lot of difference to me. And today I had Dial-A-Ride. I used that twice, and it got me to my medical.
Bye, John.
Bye, John. I'm so sorry. But okay. So with that then, we will look forward to, wait a minute. We will look forward to further comments at another date. I adjourn this meeting of the Transit Advisory Group at 6:30 p.m. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, May 6th at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
I wanted
Thank you.
I think